Hello everyone, I am just getting started and will be live in 3 minutes. So if you're watching the replay, you can skip ahead 3 minutes. And if someone in the chat could please send a chat message and just let me know that you can hear me, that would be extraordinary. But I do assume that most people will not be on for another few minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and mute myself, and in 2.5 minutes, we'll be back. Hello everyone, and welcome to Altcoin Mentors. My name is Charlie, and today I'm going to be talking about the recent crypto price action, mainly in Bitcoin, but also covering a few other altcoins. And then after that, going into my strategy for the next week in my trading. And then after that, have the audience ask a few different questions. Usually they are on They involve charting some altcoins or fundamental analysis on some, but it could really be anything. So I do request that you hold any questions until I get done with reviewing the price action and the strategy, just so that the Q&A is nicely packed into the end. Awesome. So let me switch over. Oh yeah, and if you couldn't tell, I'm in a new location. So this is actually in Connecticut, so I'm no longer in Montreal. I had to head back early. Well, I guess I would be home anyway. But my father, Peter, he is now in Shanghai, and he is presenting at a trading conference. He's teaching, hoping to get some additional clients for his own trading coaching. So that is quite exciting for us. So let me switch over to the screencast. Awesome. All right, before I get exactly to the chart, oh yeah, I forgot to ask someone, please, if you can hear me, throw something in the chat. Sentiment is so low at this point, it actually wouldn't surprise me if there wasn't a lot of viewership. Let me just make sure that I am live. Or if anyone is watching. Alright, well, I'll assume that you can hear me. If you cannot hear me, we'll find out. So if you're not in our Telegram channel already, I know it's been a little bit dead in the past 2 weeks, but that's because the crypto market was kind of dead. Lowest volatility in over a year, since April of last year. So we didn't have much to post. Just a morning chart, a few different trading tips, but now we are back at it. The market keeps making some big moves. We will be tracking them and sending them straight into this Telegram channel. So if you want to get that, you can go to t.me/altcoinmentors or altcoinmentors.com/telegram. Next, I also present, so the content of all of this live stream is, well, except for the Q&A, of course, is sent out in an email to all of these subscribers. And that's sent out every Sunday morning. And so you can subscribe to that. If you go to altcoinmentors.com/strategy and enter your email address, you will get that sent to you. You'll get last week sent to you. And then you can also, you'll be queued up to receive the next week's one. And again, that is altcoinmentors.com/strategy. Now, normally I also talk about the model portfolio, but that is actually something that we are going to be deprecating in the near future. It just has become way too much for me to handle personally. Having handled 2 portfolios, and also I get people PMing me saying, oh, I can't follow the model portfolio because it's too long term. And then other people say, oh, your timeline's not long enough, or whatever. It ends up just not being very good for anybody. So instead of having people potentially lose money off of it, I would rather keep it, rather not have it, or to the public at least. When we have our paid product, which is coming up in the next 2 months or so, we will make sure that everyone in there knows exactly what a model portfolio is intended to do. I don't think we did a good job of describing that to the public. So anyway, I think that is all. No one in the chat is a little bit concerning. I need to double check. Sorry to anyone who's watching the replay and yelling at the screen. Duh, obviously it works. Watching the replay. Okay, so it does work. Cool. Tough crowd, huh? Martin J. Fall says, end of crypto. That does seem to be the sentiment recently. So let's zoom out. Now, all of you know that if you follow me for any amount of time, you've seen this chart. This is the Bitcoin chart for as long as I have history for. So this goes all the way back to when Bitcoin was 6 cents. This is the symbol BLX on TradingView. Very cool if you want to see the full price history of Bitcoin. And right now, the level to watch, well, I guess the level to always watch was at $3,000, or closer to 3,100 actually. But if $3,100 does not break, then I think we're going to see between $48,000 and $82,000 before we get below that $3,000 level again. And the correction that had occurred, so the maximum range was from late December to early February. That was when it dropped from 20,000 down to 6,000. 6,000 was actually a fairly shallow correction. According to LA Wave rules, it more should have gotten closer to that 4,800 level. And that 4,800 level will be important later on. But yeah, just to zoom out, you can see it's so nebulous right now. The pattern is just completely... There's so many different ways that this could possibly play out. And this is not even all of them. But in the end, as long as that crucial $3,100 level holds, I am still going to be looking up. Let me save this chart. All right, now let's zoom in to that 12-hour chart and present something that is perhaps a bit more timely. So, sorry, I just got the charts confused for a little bit. But this is the bullish scenario. So I have, obviously, it can be bearish or bullish. Bitcoin doesn't really move sideways that too often. And this is, I would say, the only likely immediate bullish scenario. There are others, but extremely unlikely. For example, this could be a leading... Actually, couldn't. Yeah, this is really the only one that I can really substantiate, which is the bullish triangle for all of wave 4. So normally, yes, you would have a triangle where it is more symmetrical, so you kind of expect the waves to be centered and about the same. So what I mean is that I guess more traditionally you might see the triangle play out something like this. Let me show the wave so you can see, where it's more exaggerated and kind of more where the A wave is more proportional to the B, C, D, and E's. But certainly this is not too far out of the norm where I would consider it impossible. And with the price action, it does fit extremely well, where you have you had this potential B wave, but it retraced more than that 76.4% that we normally look for. And then again, we had a setup to the upside, but it was below this low or this high, and then created another higher low, deeply retracing, again, below that 76.4% that we want to see hold at the absolute maximum. Now, I'm not going to say that triangles are extremely common in crypto. Certainly they appear, but it is not usually best practice to rely on them, to rely on that structure only. And so that is the reason why I had stopped out of my previous longs, swing longs, not my long-term positions. So I'd stopped out of my swing trades, and I'm not looking to enter another swing trade until we can get some sort of impulsive move to the upside. Because, like I said, you shouldn't really be relying on a triangle. Now, again, like I said before, there are two different scenarios that I'm watching closely. And the tipping point for when I would switch from this bullish triangle into the bearish scenario is going to be this level right here at 6,400, which was the low of April and which would have been the C wave of the triangle. Because once you get It's a running triangle. It's technically possible, but extremely unlikely, or extremely unlikely that it will actually play out. So, hence, that's really going to be my line in the sand. And as you can see, we're sitting about $340 away from it right now. And if I take a closer look at the structure in, say, a 90-minute chart, it doesn't quite look complete to me. I do think that even if this level holds, this $6,400 level, which is the absolute maximum that it can go down further, if it's going to stay bullish, I do think that we would see some sort of one last drop. Perhaps we get some sort of bull trap here, so maybe it just goes up a little bit more and then dumps down maybe to that $6,500 level, and then we would see some sort of 5-wave move. 3 ways down, and then we really start going back up. But again, because I'm not going to be relying on the triangle, I'm not going to be buying until we get this larger 5-wave pattern up. So this is when we have confirmation that not confirmation, but high probability that there's some sort of local bottom in place is right here. And then you want to buy for that next degree right there. This should have been different colors. So buying here, getting some sort of local confirmation here. So yeah, that is what I'm going to be looking for my next swing trades to the upside. Now, what happens if we do get a break of this $6,400 level? If we get that, then I'm looking at something more immediately bearish, like this, where we had this A wave, or where this was an WXY pattern up, and then we saw that wave 1, wave 2, and now we're in the middle of an impulse going down. Again, you'll see that it ends at that $4,800 level, which is what I talked about before as being the more ideal level for a wave 4 in Bitcoin. So now if we just zoom in a little bit to the 6-hour chart, what you would expect to happen would be, I kind of like this pen tool. I'm going to probably use it more. From the price here to get a sharp drop down to around 6,000, get back up to around 6,600, another drop, another small retrace, and then a final drop to 4,800. Now this is going to be invalidated. This specific setup is going to be invalidated once we get over 7,060, because wave 4 cannot overlap wave 1, and so that will be a failed impulse. You cannot have any diagonals for 3, so again, it will not have failed, and it is not possible that, or it is not bearish if it ends up being an ABC. Now, I do have some problems with this count, mainly that this 2 was so incredibly shallow. And also this was also a shallow 2, and it relies on a leading diagonal and a very tenuous excuse me, very tenuous micro pattern here. So I'm really not in love with this at all, but I've seen uglier patterns play out in Bitcoin before, and you really do have to have an alternate in every point in time. Now, I would say that these are the 2 most likely to play out. Now, one other one that is still bearish, but is possible to still have even if we get some upside here, that is going to be a larger leading diagonal here. Oops. Well, this was wave 1. And then we are completing that 5th now. So afterwards we would get, oops, degree doesn't matter here. But either this would be some sort of truncated bottom, or simply wave 1 in a even more bearish pattern that goes past that $4,800 level and projects into projects. I think I did the Fibonacci numbers before, but it was around 3,500 ish. So yeah, this I like this because it's quite proportional. But the structure is not great. It's a leading diagonal, but it's following impulsive Fibonacci ratios. So again, I don't love it, but I need a bearish alternative, and this is certainly a contender. So Martin, if I had to put money on a call, what would it be? I would say that I like the triangle better. And that is because of the stance of a lot of altcoins. Whoa, what is this? Isn't this my Ethereum chart? Oops. Slip up there. That is because of the way that Ethereum is acting. And it's not just Ethereum. A lot of other altcoins could go lower and still not break down below their April lows. And so that would still maintain the 1-2 setup that I said before. But it's really not a... It's not a call that I would recommend that you trade off of. Because you really don't need to trade at all times. Because if you're wondering if you should sell your long-term positions, you should probably not. Because there is the chance of it turning immediately. If we break below that $6,400 level, you may consider looking for a retrace to get out of any positions you were overweight on. And then if we break that $3,000 level, that's when you really want to be getting out of the game, because it's if we get to that below $3,000, the next support after that is $1,300, and then after that $400. So not to scare the children, but it's just what the chart says. But I really believe that $3,000 will hold just because of the structure of the move up. So anyway, back to Ethereum. I think that this was a very clear impulsive move up, and so it's highly unlikely that it would break below the April lows here. And because there is a lot of room for it to go down before getting to that point, there is some extra room where the market would have some very nice alignment if there was a turn soon in Bitcoin and other in crypto in general. But I definitely think that we do get a break below the end of May lows. So in Ethereum, I'm tracking it down to zoom in. Ethereum specifically, I think, could get down. I didn't actually. Give me 1 second. It's gonna do the Fibonacci's. 6. 496 and 617. 470, I think. Between 470 and 430 is kind of the level that I'm going to be watching in Ethereum for it to turn. But again, I really am not confident enough to be using any sort of non-lottery sized position on this. We really had a good try. There was a great chance for this to be the bottom in late May. It had an impulse up, but then failed in the next degree, and that is just heartbreaking, really. I was really ready for us to get a launch soon. But the market will do whatever it does, and it is just our job to read it and trade the probabilities. And I think the only thing I have left to cover, I already covered the strategy on the long side, which is to wait for a divergent bottom and wait for that first degree 5-wave move up and then buy on that retrace. For the bearish move, if we do get a break below 6,400, actually I guess I did cover it kind of. Long-term positions, keep holding. If you're overweight, wait for a retrace if it breaks below 6,400. And of course, by now you should be stopped out of any of your swing long trades. But if you wanted to take a short swing trade, well, it's just the opposite. If we do get a breach below that $6,400 level, you can ride the trend of that and down until it's divergent, buy back there, and then sell again on any corrective retraces up for wave 4. And again, if you guys haven't, I have a video on hedging on BitMEX using futures. So the advantage of that is that they have 100x leverage, so you don't have much counterparty risk. And also, if you're in a situation where you cannot sell a lot of your cryptocurrency for tax reasons or just convenience, then hedging is a very good option. So I guess I'll talk more specifically about my strategy for shorting. So we just zoom in, and again, I'm assuming that the red count is operative. And let me count the micro in here. Waves to do. Extended fifth. It's not great, but I can deal with it. So let's do a Fibonacci analysis on this. So 77.55 and 66.10. Now, please be warned that shorting is more difficult than longing in general, especially on Bitcoin, just because you can get really whipped around in general, especially if you're shorting, because has a tendency to have very quick moves. Well, I guess there's quick moves both up and down, but generally you really don't want to be on the wrong end of a Bitcoin short. So if the price gets up to around the $7,000 region, I guess so. Okay, I'll just tell you what I'm doing right now. Right now, I have all my long positions, and I am only hedged on a small portion of it. Yeah, not much at all. And if we get up to the level between 6,900 and 7,000, then I'm going to put on a larger hedge short on BitMEX futures and ride that down until 6,400. 6,400 to 6,200-ish. And then, of course, I mean, it's possible that it just rebounds up from there, like if we're in the bullish triangle. But if we're not, then you just kind of ride that sucker all the way down and add to it as it continues to confirm on retraces. So for example, you would add to it, let me switch this to red since it is a bearish count. I hope the air conditioner is not too loud. I think this mic is close enough that I don't have to worry about that. So this would be the 3 right here. You'd have some 4. So the strategy would be, if it gets up to 7,000, you start a seed position. It wouldn't be a full size position because you didn't get in on the 1-2. So just a smaller size. Take some profit here. Then when it goes back up into this 4th, you add more to it, perhaps even more than, yeah, definitely more than what you had on originally. Again, you ride it down to the $5,400 level. When it goes, take a lot of profit here. Add back half for that final leg down. Add more on the 1-2 of this final leg. And then you take profit at the 3 of this final leg. And then the rest of it at, well, maybe you're never going to nail the exact bottom, but you try to. And then when you get a 1-2 up, then you fully take out off your position. So yeah, that would be the strategy if you were going to short. But like I said, you don't want to be on the wrong side of a short, and the market has not yet confirmed a bearish stance. So be careful. Why are most alts holding? I don't see last March lows. I don't quite understand the question. You don't see last March lows? If you could rephrase that, that would be much appreciated. Otherwise, that is the content that I've planned. So that means we are now in Q&A. So this is going to be questions on not only the content I've presented, but also on crypto in general, new coins, March lows. Zach, I'm sorry. Why are most alts holding? Well, I guess I can answer that without understanding what it means. So, why do things happen? I think it's pointless to speculate on why things happen. I know a lot of people are saying this dump was caused by CoinRail being hacked. I've literally never heard of CoinRail in my entire life, so I'm going to go ahead and say that that's unlikely, but that's what people are saying. So I don't really think, I don't really put a lot of emphasis on why things happen. I just look at the chart. It's possible that it happened because of the Justice Department's probe into exchanges. I guess. Like I said, I don't really care. Because mainly because it doesn't help you in any way. There's no way to know if news is actually really going to affect the market or not. In a bullish market, we shrugged off FUD like it was nothing. Well, definitely less engagement here than previously. I guess that speaks well to sentiment. So news definitely affects the market, but in unpredictable ways. Like I said, in a bull market, it just gets shrugged off, but in a bear market, bad news will just cause a major dump. And then bullish news, I mean, we've had all sorts of bullish news recently, and none of that made the market go up, so I'm not much of a news trader. Your dad said he follows trend, and the trend is bearish. Yes, it is. The trend is definitely bearish. So he would favor the red scenario, either the red or the blue scenario here. Yeah. I mean, he thinks that it's going down. He's watching. He thinks it'll get to 4,500. But yeah, that's why I said to wait for confirmation on any upside moves. Questions. Might be able to end early. That'll be the first time since the first one of these I did. If I can end early. Sometimes I get questions on Twitter. Let me check that. Ooh, people are unfollowing too. Damn. Am I bullish or bearish? Come on, you gotta put more effort into these questions. I've just presented a bullish case and a bearish case. Below 6,400, I am bearish. We're still above that, so it's possible we can still get a stick save. I am bullish, but I am acutely aware of all the biases that would push me to that conclusion. Good trigger to watch out for a dump coming. Support and resistance. I think if it breaks below 6,400, like, it's gonna go quick, man. Because that's just really, really major support. So, I mean, most likely what happens is that it breaks that level, dumps, you get some sort of bear trap, and then dumps way, way more. Am I planning to buy more Enigma? Yes, eventually. Once we get some confirmation of upside. Enigma is right now my third largest holding, so it's not urgent that I add to it. Let me take a look at that Enigma chart. But if I get a really good price on it, like I did before, then yeah, I'll add to it. Woo! Down 20%. Jeez. So yeah, I mean, a lot of altcoins look like this. Where if they break below this low, there's not support for a long, long time. So next 48 hours. I would say next month. Next week. Sorry. Next week will tell the tale. Unless it's like the last week except for yesterday, where it was just going sideways. $1 was cheap. Should have went all in. Dude, I put in a lot when it was $1. Man, that was I was way more uncomfortable than I wanted to be watching that, but it paid off. And then I promptly lost those gains. Promptly lost it by buying too early in this most recent retrace, unfortunately. Man, sentiment is really down. In a situation like now, do you bag hold your positions or do you try to sell to buy lower? Yeah, I mean, like I said before, if you're in it for the long term, like, nothing is I'm not seeing anything that would tell me, that makes me think that it's not going to end up at $5 trillion market cap and $50,000 Bitcoin, you know? So my long-term positions, yeah, I'm keeping them as long as we're above $3,000 Bitcoin. I already said, yeah, I stopped out of all my short-term positions, so I just have my long-terms right now. I don't think I'm over-positioned in anything. right now. So, but if I were, I would take it off at below 6,400 on a retrace back up. Oh, but I guess I'm hedging as well, so that changes things for my personal strategy. Uh, I don't really know what I would do if I didn't hedge. I guess I would sell, but it would be much bigger pain in the ass to do. We'll take off soon like last year. Well, I sure hope so. That would be great. Do you think an ETF would change sentiment? Um, that could be a catalyst. That would be big. That would be one of the few things where, that would be one of the few things where I think that could make a real difference. Average production price is around 4,500. You think we're fucked if we go below? Well, first of all, I don't think 4,500 is really There's a problem with averages. I don't really like where some people it costs 16,000, but other people it costs 5,000. Other people it costs 1,000. If you're in China, it costs 300. So I don't really think it's a big deal. If it's going down, there's no like set level where I think it makes a difference. I mean, sure, there's psychological levels like 5,000. Below 5,000, people really don't like it. And then, of course, there's support and resistance where below 6,400, that's going to be a short cruise to 6,000. And then if we break below 6,000, it's going to be a quick way down to 5,000. So wow. Low sentiment, huh? I guess I'll take a look at a more traditional TA chart just for funsies. Oh, Jesus, that looks like a bad daily candle. Oh, my God. What's the range on this baby? Whew. $900. I was not here for 2014, so I would not know. Let's see if I can find the day where I bought my first Bitcoin. It was at $254. So that was February. So here. Bought my first Bitcoin right here. So yeah, I missed that. I pretty much got really, really lucky on the time that I first entered crypto. Although at the time, I didn't put in a lot. I bought one Bitcoin just to test it out, and then didn't really buy a lot more until a lot later. So yeah. Why wasn't I in crypto in 2014? I didn't know about it. So I mean, at the time, I was living, well, where I am right now, in a town in Connecticut that has less than 2,000 people. It's not exactly a hotbed of technical innovation, and we're over here. But I held on to that Bitcoin. Yeah. Pretty much. Well, what actually happened is that I kind of forgot about it after I tested it out and didn't see it later until it was at $1,000. And then I started paying more attention and buying more. Where did I buy it? I bought it at Coinbase. I know a lot of people hate on Coinbase, but whatever. Interesting. I guess this is the Tom DeMark setup trendline support is saying 6600 is the real support. Oh, okay, that's the close. Yeah, that makes sense. I can dig that. Oh yeah, because this was just a wick. What does this close at? 77. Damn. I really don't have a recollection of this day. Looking at too many charts. Yeah, 6600, 6400. A lot of volume there. Let me turn on the VPVR. Is one break enough? No, you need a definitive break. It needs to like yeah, really break that level. Wow, this is too many things on my screen right now. If it retraces back up, so if it breaks it, well, if it just wicks it, then that's not really a break, right? So, and if it, because there are many times where you get support that just gets wicked and then it just bounces off. So yeah, one break is not enough. It's gotta close and then confirm on the time frame you're looking at. So let's see. What are the major areas of volume? So yeah, I mean, we're pretty much in it right now. That region, 6,500, 65, yeah. Is Tom DeMark saying anything on a red 2? What about on the weekly? Red 4. I know the 3 day has been firing. Yeah, because I saw this at one point was a 9, so I really liked that. But then it never confirmed. And then yeah, here we are right now, right above that trendline support at 6,600, and we are actually on a sequential 13. So that if it was gonna bounce, now would be the time. Sitting right above, yeah. So I guess 6,600 is the below 6,600 is really gonna be the first sign of trouble. Confirmed below 6,400. Mega double. Mega. I don't know what I'm trying to say. Very much confirmed below 5,900. All right. Well, looks like everyone has been shaken out because there's almost no one watching this, so that's fun. I will end early, I guess. I know there's always some questions that flow in when I do the exit, so just put them in there and I'll answer them afterwards. But for once, I will remember to switch over to webcam only. Need more light. That's okay. Thank you everyone for watching. My name is Charlie from Altcoin Mentors. That is the channel that my father and I, Peter, are producing for you. We truly do believe that cryptocurrency is the opportunity of a lifetime to provide for your family and have true financial freedom. And that is financial freedom in any way that you define it. Whether you just want to have more time at home from your kids, you want to work less hours, or if you do want that Lambo, you do want a trip to the moon. I don't judge, whatever floats your boat. If you want to keep up with us, of course, you can subscribe below. If you're watching on YouTube, if you're on Periscope, please hit that follow button on Twitter. And if you would be so kind, the best way that you can support us right now is if you would share us share our channel with a friend. It would really mean the world to us. We are about to ramp up in content production, and if everyone who is subscribed to us would share it, it would really, really, like I said, mean the world to us. If you want to keep up with us on an intraday basis, we have a Telegram channel, t.me/altcoinmentors or altcoinmentors.com/telegram. And if you want to get the strategy notes delivered into your inbox every single morning, you can go to altcoinmentors.com/strategy. And that will be sent to you right away. Let me see if there are any final questions. Wow, no questions. Are you a millionaire? No, I'm not a millionaire. I wish I was. Thank you, everyone, and have a good night.